Do you see any of those members of Congress possibly being charged?
Members of Congress and any public official is not above the law.
They'll find out.
What would you do, though?
They'll find out.
What recourse? But doesn't that broach a...
They'll find out.
Well, we officially find ourselves in a standoff. These three members of Congress may still be arrested for assaulting Homeland Security officers. However, Democrat leadership has now issued new big warnings to Homeland Security and has even insulted Homeland Security. Let's dig into it.
What happens if they were to go and arrest these members, or if they would try to sanction them here in the House of Representatives?
They'll find out.
What would you do, though? What recourse? But doesn't that broach a...
They'll find out.
Doesn't that go across...
That's a red line.
What's the red line, though? I know we have this...
It's a red line. It's very clear. First of all, I think that the so-called Homeland Security spokesperson is a joke.
Okay, so Homeland Security is not backing down. You're about to watch a brand new warning from Homeland, and the woman that Hakeem Jeffries insulted, this is her.
Do you see any of those members of Congress possibly being charged?
Members of Congress and any public official is not above the law. You cannot body slam, body ram, shove, strike, or otherwise assault a law enforcement officer. Everything is still on the table. I'll leave that to the Department of Justice, but it is despicable to watch members of Congress assault law enforcement, and we will do everything we can to protect our brave law enforcement who so bravely operate this facility, and we thank them every day, Mark.
Okay, so I have to point this out. As many of you are aware, Homeland Security keeps saying one of the members of Congress body slammed the Homeland Security officer, but you'll notice they also added shoving and pushing and intimidating. This is because that member of Congress has been saying this.
DHS also says that, in their words, you were body slamming an ICE officer. Is that what we're looking at? Is that what happened?
Absolutely no. I honestly do not know how to body slam anyone. There's no video that supports me body slamming anyone. As Congresswoman Bonnie Watson-Coleman said, we were simply there to do our job.
And you'll notice, even on camera, her body is slamming into an officer, yet she's saying, I don't know how to body slam. So it looks like Homeland Security is also adding in there, shoving, pushing, and intimidating, and getting away from only the body slamming.
Give me a break. No one's intimidated by this dude. No one. And so there are clear lines that they just dare not cross.
Now here's where things get very interesting. Even AOC issued her own warnings and threats, and of course Homeland Security had to respond.
So Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has deemed it necessary for her to interject herself in an issue that would seem to have nothing to do with her district. And she's warning y'all, don't mess with the Democrat members of Congress. Listen to what she said.
If anyone's breaking the law in this situation, it's not members of Congress, it's the Department of Homeland Security. It's people like Tom Homan and Secretary Kristi Noem. You lay a finger on someone, on Representative Bonnie Watson-Coleman or any of the representatives that were there, you lay a finger on them, we are going to have a problem.
AOC, who does she want out of that detention facility? Is it the MS-13 members? Is it the known terrorists? Is it the child rapists? Is it the murderers? Who is she fighting for? Because she's not fighting for Americans.
Now, the funny part about all of this is that AOC is forgetting to mention or acknowledge these oversight committee personnel actually got to conduct oversight. The reason why Homeland Security wants to potentially arrest them or have them arrested is because of this.
She's not fighting for American victims, and I'd like to lay out the facts. The fact that it was these three members of Congress who trespassed, broke the law, and stormed that ICE detention facility. They put law enforcement at risk, they put our detainees at risk, and they put our staff at risk. Had they asked for a tour, we would have happily facilitated one for them, but there was absolutely no notice. And the fact that they put hands, they body slammed, body rammed, push, shove, whatever you want to call it, it was assault on our ICE agents, and it's unacceptable.
Now, you are probably asking yourself, why is nobody sticking up for the mayor of Newark, New Jersey? I mean, he's a Democrat, an elected official, he was there protesting, he actually got arrested. Well, in this new clip, Homeland Security could care less.
wanted his 15 minutes of fame, and he's willing to do it on the backs of our law enforcement officers. By trespassing, by storming that facility, he put our law enforcement officers at risk, he put our staff at risk, and he actually put the detainees themselves at risk. But what I would like to ask the mayor is, who does he want out of that facility? Is it the MS-13 gang members? Is it the known terrorists? Is it the child rapists? Is it the murders? Which of these heinous actors does he want out of this detention facility? Just because you are a member of Congress or just because you are a public official does not mean you are above the law. We will continue. If you assault a law enforcement officer, we will also make sure you answer to justice. So I think that arrests are still on the table for this. This is an ongoing investigation.
Now, I do want to point this out. These are all brand new interviews from Homeland Security where they are not backing down. It looks like they really are on the offensive when it comes to this case, because assaulting a Homeland Security officer is very serious, and these members of Congress do actually believe they can be arrested.
Congresswoman, have you heard from DHS since this incident took place? Are you anticipating further legal action that you might be arrested?
If I'm arrested, it is an amazing absurdity because we did nothing illegal. We did nothing wrong. Am I concerned? Of course, because this is an administration that doesn't really care about the rule of law, the Constitution, and it has been abusing its power since day one.
Now, something else I want to point out, the members of Congress who may be arrested, a lot of people forget they also accuse Homeland Security for putting their hands on them right after the entire incident.
They feel no weight of the law. They feel no restraint on what they should be doing, and that was shown in broad daylight today when they not just arrested the mayor of Newark, but when they put their hands on two members of Congress who are standing behind me. How is this acceptable to anyone in this country? How is this acceptable? I fight along with these two incredible women every day for the people of New Jersey.
And again, remember, Democrats are being super vague about what they could do and what they would do if Homeland Security crosses the line. Maybe it could be, counter-pressing charges because you touched the members of Congress. Things like that. I can't really find any evidence anywhere of what Democrats want to do or could do towards Homeland Security or the Trump administration.
Right here, do the lawmakers have the authority to go into this facility or do they not?
No, they absolutely don't have the authority to go in without the approval of the executive branch. The enforcement of the federal immigration laws is a federal responsibility. Congress has oversight of it, but members of Congress who are not acting as Congress, they're acting as individuals, they don't have any more right to obstruct the operations and certainly to create situations that endanger and in some cases reportedly have resulted in assaults on federal officials. They don't have any power to do that.
And again, everyone keeps missing this part of the story. Even though these lawmakers may have potentially broke protocol, they were still allowed to go into the facility and do the tour after all of the chaos. I don't know why everybody keeps forgetting that fact in all of these interviews.
And after all of the chaos and the arresting of the mayor, we went and did the tour with ICE officials and the officials of the owner of the building, who happens to be one of the biggest donors to Donald Trump. So we did the tour. We saw that the elevators really weren't working. We saw that the place was relatively okay. It had some dirty areas because they're just hiring people and they're waiting for ICE to okay the people to be hired even at the lowest levels. And as demonstrated with the incompetence of ICE in this situation with us, the facility is probably experiencing the same level of incompetence.
Now, this is very crucial. Remember, these members of Congress are being accused of assault and escalation and all of these things, but they were still allowed access into the facility. There is a missing part to this entire story, which is the middle part of the story, where these members of Congress, they were about to do the facility tour, but instead they decided, you know what, let's block off the mayor from being arrested. If that is the case, it does not look good for these members of Congress who are saying, we didn't do anything, even though they are admitting to being involved with the process of blocking off Homeland Security.
we were heading back to the receiving room, the holding room, thinking that now we're going to begin our tour. And we overhear them on the phones, ICE officials on the phones, and then we hear, we're arresting the mayor. And to which we said, for what? He's not on the property. And they wouldn't respond to us. And they opened the gates and they sort of pursued the mayor with a number of officers who were masked and had guns. And so instinctively, the 3 members of Congress went to shield the mayor because we knew that what was happening was not legal.
So again, even though these members of Congress are fully admitting to blocking off the mayor of Newark, New Jersey, and now they are fully admitting they were going to do the facility tour, but instead they turned around and they decided to block off the mayor of New Jersey, a lot of these details are missing. You still have Hakeem Jeffries threatening to do something to Homeland Security, to the Trump administration, and to others. Now, more protesters, they keep showing up to the front gates of Delaney Hall.
I'm setting all the captives free. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. I didn't fight for this. I didn't fight for this. Us veterans didn't fight.
Thinking that there are already hundreds of people in here who we don't know anything about.
Faith in Action leaders are calling on the Department of Homeland Security to release the identities of the people detained in Delaney Hall, to allow a congressional delegation to complete an oversight visit, and to permit the city of Newark to conduct all necessary inspections.
No se sabe lo que va a pasar con ellos, pero le están levantando. Saben su estatus ahora mismo y qué va a pasar con ustedes.
This man rallying outside of Delaney Hall says he was able to connect with a friend who he claims is being held at the detention center. The man detained, who was Dominican, says he has a domestic violence case on his record, but denied any suggestion he is an MS-13 gang member.
We think that because this is so near Newark Airport, they will be deported from here rapidly and sort of like in disguise.
Now, funny enough, as I was making this video, look who's back. New York Mayor Ras Baraka returns to ICE detention center days after arrest. Here's what they have to say. Newark Mayor Ras Baraka returned to the gates of an ICE detention center days after he was arrested for allegedly trespassing at the same facility. Baraka, a Democrat running for governor, was turned away shortly after he arrived outside Delaney Hall on Tuesday. He was blocked from getting within 20 feet of the entrance by 8 armed ICE officers, 2 SUVs, and yellow barriers, according to New Jersey Advanced Media. Now, this is what the mayor has to say. Now they won't even let us close to the gate, Baraka said Tuesday. I wonder why.
ICE has nothing to hide. They have nothing to be ashamed of. This facility is so clean. It has, all kinds of recreation facilities, outdoor soccer fields, weight equipment, domino tables. It also has telephones everywhere with signs next to them of how they can, the phone numbers to reach their consulates. It also has legal facilities, computer, webcams. Their doors on the bedrooms, on the places where they sleep, aren't even locked. The facility is actually looks like a high school. Actually, for American citizens, could take a lesson from this facility. In fact, the director of ICE, who took me around, he told me, Todd Lyons told me, that they can't even contract with state and local prisons and facilities. They have to use private facilities because their standards are so high, and it's just too expensive for them to retrofit their facilities to put the ICE detainees in. So that's the lowdown on that. Here's a clip of him telling me the kind of person that comes into this facility. You can't come here, you guys, just because you crossed the border illegally. You have to have committed another crime. Listen. The person who ends up in this facility is not just that they crossed the border illegally. No. You've had to have done more than that, correct?
Right. So currently today, as we're walking through here today, there's 152 detainees. 75% of those have committed crimes, been convicted of crime, or have pending criminal charges. So
So as you can see, this is turning into a worst case scenario for Democrats every single day, because more and more and more footage is coming out, not only of the interaction of the Democrats and Homeland Security, but also now we can see what the inside of the hall looks like. Homeland Security keeps saying it's beautiful in there. Now we have the footage. When you look at the standards compared to Delaney Hall to other prison systems, Delaney Hall looks beautiful. So thank you guys so much for being here. We'll have to wait and see what happens. I do think charges will be pressed against those members of Congress. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Thank you for everything. God bless, and we'll see you all later.